Good afternoon, everyone. Everybody's doing well? Okay. Let me start with a quick show of hands. Who here believe in the saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger? You may raise your hand. I see quite some hands right there. Thank you very much. This idea is everywhere. We see it in books. We hear it in movies, even in the advice people give us when things get hard. It suggests a simple message that hardship is the only engine of growth, and that suffering by itself creates strength. But what if I tell you that this story is incomplete? Let us start with what psychology tells us. In the early 2000s, psychologists Richard Tadeusz and Lawrence Calhoun studied people who had lived through serious trauma. They developed something called the post-traumatic growth inventory, a tool to measure positive changes people sometimes reported after hardship. And over the decades that followed, researchers continued using this inventory in many different groups. Trauma patients, to bereaved parents, even cancer survivors. And across the settings, a consistent pattern appeared. Here's what surprised them. The people who reported the most growth were not necessarily the ones who suffered the most. And they did not describe gaining brand new abilities either. Instead, they talk about discovering strengths and also perspectives they didn't realize they already had. These challenges many of us carry, even the ones we just agreed upon a while ago. Research suggests something quieter, that growth is less about what hardship gives us and more about what it takes away. Behavioral science helps explain why. In behavioral economics, there's a concept called the status quo bias. It describes our tendency to stick with things as they are, even when change would actually benefit our lives. Research by Versky and also Kahneman shows that we fear losses just twice as much as we value gains. And this has not just been in laboratories. We see it in health plans, retirement choices, even medical decisions. Follow-up studies consistently find the same pattern, that people stick with the default options and avoid change, even when switching would actually benefit them. So, staying where we are feels safer, even when that risk might actually help us. And because of this, people often stay in situations that are simply okay. Not fulfilling, not meaningful, just familiar. We don't stay because the situations are right for us. We stay because they are known. And the known feels safer than the unknown, even when it isn't. Where researchers studied people who were suddenly pushed out of these comfortable and familiar situations through job loss, relationship endings, as well as major health events, they noticed something interesting. The people who experienced the most positive change were not the ones who suddenly learned new skills. They were the ones who, without their usual structures and routines, began using abilities they already had but never needed to survive before. In stable, predictable environments, we live in autopilot. Routines make decisions for us. Social expectations guide our choices. Established paths reduce uncertainty. But when those supports disappear, people are forced to engage more directly with their own values and judgment. And that is when growth becomes visible. Let's take a look at the screen right there. These are the changes reported after disruption identified by Tadeusz and Calhoun. I'll give you a few seconds. Notice anything? These are not new traits being added. Long-term studies suggest that these traits traits has already been there. They simply were not required while life remained comfortable. So, right now, think about making coffee. The filter doesn't create the coffee. It doesn't add flavor or strength. Every potential is already in the beans. The filter's job is just to remove what shouldn't be there so you could actually taste the coffee. Hardship works the same way. It doesn't teach people how to trust themselves or how to make decisions, take responsibility. It removes the comfort, routines, and also delay that allowed them not to. When outside approval disappears, people start trusting their own judgment. When familiar paths disappear, people find new ways forward. And when decisions can't be delayed anymore, they finally make them. So, what changes after we understand hardship this way? First, it challenges how we think about our own ability. Most of us assume that we're not ready until we have proven ourselves otherwise. We tell ourselves, we need more experience, more confidence, more preparation. But this research suggests something different. We may already have more capacity than our current life requires us to show. We often told to prepare before taking risks. Build skills, gain experience, be ready first. That advice is not wrong, but then again, it's incomplete. If comfort hides capacity, then staying comfortable where we are right now and for too long can actually prevent us from discovering certain strengths. Not because preparation is bad, of course, but because some things only show up when the comfortable option is gone. And this leads to our last key takeaway. Discomfort can act as information. It might not be a comfortable and also pleasant information, but valuable information. It tells us who we are and where we are beyond our current level of comfort. This reframing changes how we see both comfort and also difficulty. If you're currently in a comfortable situation, it doesn't mean that you lack the ability to handle something harder. It may simply mean your environment does not require you to demonstrate that ability just yet. And if you're currently facing difficulty, the question may not be, how do I become strong enough? The question may just be, what abilities do I already have that this situation requires me to show? We often treat hardship as the builder of strength, but research points to a different mechanism. Hardship does not add to us. It subtracts from the conditions that allow certain capacities to remain hidden. The distinction matters, because if hardship creates abilities, then we're helpless without it. But if hardship reveals ability, then we are already more capable than our comfortable situations require us right now. So, after all, what remains beneath? After comfort fades, what remains may not be something new. It may be something that has been there all along. Thank you very much.